gamifying the online learning experiences with animated digital storybook using Keynote. The four main keywords are gamifying, online learning experiences, animated digital storybooks, and you may be asking also why Keynote. So therefore, I highlighted all four phrases, all four keywords that I will touch in my presentation today. Okay, so allow me to start with the first slide. I would like to highlight the definition of gamification before we go towards exploring or venturing gamification. That gamification is the application of game design principles and the inclusion of game elements in non-gaming context. In this context, we are integrating gamification in education. Okay, and with that in mind, we have to also know what is the gamification concept. So in gamification, definitely there are many things to consider, but these are the main things to be considered, or concept or elements that need to be highlighted, which are goal, learning, okay, skills, achievement, challenge, reward, competition, and user engagement. It's not just about playing games, but it is all about how it is used to enhance learning. And that approach involves a lot of challenge-based learning, rewarding, a lot of user engagement, as some of you answered in the chat box, fun learning, and so on. Okay, so all right. So when we talk about online learning experiences, I believe everyone has become an expert now because of the MCO. Everybody, all educators, academicians, you have to somehow, we have no option but to use online learning, or perhaps you will name it as remote learning. But how to make that online learning meaningful? That is the main question here. And before we go further, allow me to briefly highlight things to consider to have meaningful online learning experiences which are adaptive. So make sure it is adaptive, it is based on students' prior knowledge, it has learning goals, and that it has to be personalized so that students feel more connected to the experience, to the learning experience. And I would say it is something that is highly visual. To make things meaningful, it has to be highly visual, it has to be active, it has to be thought-provoking, and it has to be interactive. And then only an online learning is, what do you call meaningful? Interactions, a lot of interactions, and then engaging, and also debating. Okay. And when we mention about animated digital storybook, why it is animated digital storybook? When you want to produce an animated digital storybook, you need words, definitely. Storybook is still a storybook, you need words. But then you can also integrate or have some images. But when it comes to digital, it has to be created with a digital tool. And it involves a lot of multimedia components such as graphics, sounds, and video. And the best part about animated digital storybook is that it can be used for any content, regardless of subjects, for language, history, science, maths, physics, you name it. Okay? Right. And yeah, okay. And then one question asked, perhaps by most of the participants, most of my friends do ask me, why Keynote? Why iPad? Why Keynote? I would say that my answer is just because Keynote is a very powerful presentation tool. It has a lot of interactive images. It has a lot of action-built effects. You can draw, you can write, you can have cinematic transitions, a very dramatic presentation. It has hyperlink features, and in the end, it is a powerful tool to help you to create a compelling story. That's what makes our animated digital storybooks memorable ones, meaningful to our students. Okay, so what I'm going to share today is what my students and I are doing for our innovation project. We do something on animated digital storytelling for language learning. Perhaps I can show you some examples. Do enjoy. I'll play slowly. You enjoy. It may take a few minutes for you to go through. Am I too far? No?
Okay, so far.
I just go through the song a little bit. Okay, so the information I have actually chosen the first option, but the second option goes like this. Okay, how do we gamify? If you can see, the one that we have sort of a challenge, okay, sort of thrill. When Huck, the character is Huck. So when Huck need to make decision on whether or not to accept the offer. If he accepts the offer, he will have to go and find the scroll. If not, then he will have to fix the ship himself. So this is where students are actually challenged to make decision, or they are given options to continue the story, or sort of solving or complete some task given earlier. So it involves some kind of planning, storyboard, as well as what kind of challenges that you want to have in your animated digital storybooks. Okay, as I mentioned just now, there are a few elements there. You need some sort of learning goals. You can put it in the beginning of the instruction or introduction. And then you need, of course, images. Of course, you need text. You need also some sort of reward animation. Like for example, like I have here, you earn 200. So let's do this together. If you notice, I have sort of, what do you call this? This is a GIF file.
Yes.
So what we're going to do together now is to try to have that GIF for the man animation. So you can either draw on your own, or what you can do is that you can find it and trace from the website anywhere. Like I have here, this is from ArtStation. If you were to go and find, there are a few in the internet. So you can just find a few. Maybe I give you some time for you to take one. If you know how to draw, please draw straight away. If you don't know how to draw, like myself, I don't know how to draw, so I'll have to trace. So you can take one. Okay. Maybe I can just delete this. Okay, I'll take one. Okay, but there are so many faces here, right? We just need one. So what you need to do is, can you see the brush on top, right, on your right at the top? So what you need to do is to tap on the image, tap edit mask. Okay. So when you edit mask, you just mark the area that you want. Okay, done. So we have only this. Okay, and don't forget to reduce the opacity. Oh, sorry, that is too much. Okay, and then of course you need a pencil for you to draw. So let's draw together. Yeah? So you can just trace very fast. Okay. Don't worry about being too neat, because I think if it is like a comic or if it is like an animation, if you were to talk about students, they would prefer something like anime, more of sketching. Okay, so okay, a very simple one. So you can choose any character as you wish, as you like. But I like myself, because this is an adventurous story, so I need someone, a man, a very masculine man, and I call him Huck. Okay, so let's just put some colors. You want to put colors? Okay, want to localize this man? Okay, so let's just put some effects. Okay, right. Maybe we can put some the face. Okay, and then here. Okay. Right, and then I want to this man, this character, to have black color hair, because I want it to be localized. He is a Malaysian citizen. Okay. Yeah, almost done. Okay, so I'm done. From this drawing, you can turn this into what do we call GIF file, yeah? But you don't have to redraw everything. What we need to do now, let's just copy this. Okay, and let's make a few. Let's have like 4 copies. Okay, let's go to the second slide. This is the first slide. Okay, let's go to the second slide. Maybe because we want him to sort of like thinking, right? So you have to somehow use your imagination. And we may change a little bit of his expression. How do we do that? Is everyone following? Okay, so use the selection tool or lasso, and then you can just select here. Okay, separate, take it out, and delete. And of course, you need to redraw the eyebrow. Okay. So this time, perhaps a higher one, maybe deep thinking. Okay. And then, of course, because of some area is are affected, so you have to color it again. Okay. That area. Sorry, different color. Then you may want to add a frowning effect. Check what color is. Sorry. Some frowning effect here. Okay. Right. Done. And if you want to check, you can check from the first and the second one. You can see some movement. Yeah, the first one with a little bit of changes, and then the third one. Okay, let me just edit this a little bit. It looks a bit weird here. Okay, right. Okay. So when you want to change this into GIF, you need to change the background first. Make it no fill. Okay. All 3 slides. Make sure you use no fill. No fill. So we have 3 here, and these are to be converted into GIF file. Okay, so what we need to do is to export. Okay, animated GIF. Right. So slide 34 to slide 36. Make sure this transparent background is turned green. Okay. Make sure you click share, save in image. Right. So now, let's say I were to have a blank screen, and if you want to trace back the GIF file just now, go to tap plus sign, take from photo, recent one, this one. So you have it here as a GIF file. So can you see the eyebrow is moving, and also frowning. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Next is to have some text. You can either, I think this has been touched before in our learning professional learning series. So as usual, what you need is you can add shapes. And I can see some of the questions from the participant. Can we not have the dialogue bubble or whatsoever? It's up to you. It's your story. If you want to put it in a form of sentences, it's up to you. It's your choice. Okay. So if you want to put in the bubble, dialog bubble, you can choose from the plus sign on the right side, and you can choose from shape. So go to basic shapes, and it is there here. Okay. Right. So you can just add that, and also you can add text to it. Hello. Okay. Right. As simple as that. Okay, I don't want to focus on that because this is quite simple. And then again, you need to have sort of other drawings and images, like for example, in this animated storybook, I have sort of scroll. So you may want to draw scroll. And also, if you were to look at these slides, you can see sort of what do we call challenge completed. Maybe I can replay. Okay, so there are a few elements there. You need the tab button, okay, the tab object. You need the object itself, okay. This can also be done the same steps as in the dialog box just now. You can either choose from whatever available, or if you want to draw on your own, it's up to you, okay. All right, but what I would like to focus on how to gamify a digital storybook is that when students or players or users, they play games, they need to earn points, right? So what you need to add is some elements of earning points, and then also some what do you call money sounds, is it? And
Points.
rewards given. And also you need soundtrack as well, right? Okay, so how do we get the soundtrack? I can show you. Previously, we have learned GarageBand by Dr. Helmi in Apple Professional Learning Series. So I'm going to show a very quick one, a very simple one. So like for example, let's go to this one. You have to use your imagination. You have to somehow become a composer. Okay. So what I have here is I sort of compose the winning sounds and also the rain effect, as you can see from my interface. Plus one, which is this one, these sounds. As simple as that. So what you need to do is to go to GarageBand, and then you can see on top in the middle between live loops and tracks. Okay, so go to live loops, and there are a lot of options here for you to play around with. So where did I get that? It's from so Toybox. Okay, so you can test a few sounds here. Okay, but what we need is the reward sound just now. So you can just test each one of it. So after tested, I found this sounds is much more related to that money catching sounds, right? So is to press the red button to record. Okay. Okay, right. Stop. So only that sound. Okay, then go up, sorry. Okay, so this is too far. I don't want it to be started quite late when we play later. Okay, so we have it there. Now we have your My Song 25 here. Let's change it first. The name, sorry. Okay. Okay, let's change the name so that you don't get yourself confused later. Let's call it Ching. You need to share this. Okay. Tap song. Okay. Tap share. Open in. So save to file. Okay, in Keynote. Right. So when you open your Keynote, okay, tap the plus sign on the right side. Go to the last one, which is on the photo, camera, image gallery, and so on. We choose insert from. Now you have your kaching there. Can you see? Okay, tap on that, and it is now in your slide. Okay, so there are many other soundtracks that you can compose. Like for example, I composed this myself. Okay, so I composed. Okay, so they are all I composed myself, and then this one is to be drawn. And also definitely you need to add some animation. I think Asma also did touch on animation yesterday. So you can insert in sort of bundles of animation in the animation option. So you can just try out any animation that is suitable to your storyline. Okay. And don't forget one more thing for you to have in gamification is that to have sort of what you call challenge again is for them to choose the either options or for them to choose the next storyline or for them to make decisions. So this can be done by just putting shapes, adding some sentences to it, and also can be using link. Like for example, the one that I have just now, let's say how many minutes we have? Okay, let's say this one, if I were to play. So I choose the first one. Okay, I'll find it for you. And blah blah blah. So the story goes like on the right. So also for the GarageBand, I have given the simplest example. Compose your own songs. Okay, in the end, right. Some more examples that I have. Maybe I can just show. Like for example, drawing of this different animation. Okay, and this one, you can see the output is combination of GIF from a few slides. Okay, these are all different slides, and then also this one from different slides converted into GIF, and also the bird chirping and everything is all in the GarageBand, so you don't have to worry. So you have just what you need to do is to just explore GarageBand and find either in live loops or you compose yourself using the live instrument just now. Okay, and time is running, so therefore maybe I can just show few more examples that you can do in as for language activities. Apart from that, you can also ask students to look for meanings. Like for example, what we have here, I simply highlighted the word explorer, change it into a different color, and you can actually ask your students to check by using define, check the definition. So students can actually look for meanings using, like in here, if the students is not sure what is the meaning of explorer, so he or she can use the define function and then define feature, and voila, the definition is there. And I have another example. If let's say students is not sure what is the meaning of frag, they can just use the define feature. Okay, can you see the define beside replace? Okay, and then students should be able to check the meaning of frag, for example. Okay, all right. So yeah, I've seen some question on how to export these files when it is developed or when it is completed. So they if you want to have exactly as it is, there are only two ways, which is from Keynote file to Keynote file. If your students are using iPhone, you can just send to them using Telegram. If the story is not too long, because the multimedia, the builds will affect the what you call the capacity or the whether it is heavy or not when you want to send to students using Telegram. And the other way is by using HTML file, whereby you need to use not on iPad, but you need to use your MacBook into a HTML file, and that HTML file can be played using MacBook just by clicking on the HTML file, or if you have your website, if you have blogs, you can have it plugged in your website. It can be played as it is. So this two file allows for the sharing of the file to be played as it is. If you were to change it to PDF, PowerPoint, it will somehow affect the animation and the builds that you have in your presentation or your digital storybook. Okay, so if I were to highlight back again the concept of gamification, can all this be done using Keynote? Yes, you can have goals of your animated digital storybook. You can have learning as well. Okay, you can test or improve skills. You can let students to improve their skills. It can have some sort of achievement. Yes. Okay, can we beat challenges? Yes. Can we have rewarding system? Yes. Can we have sort of competition? Yes, it is somehow the matter of planning things. And can it involve user engagement? Yes. And I'm sure that students will feel learning is much fun by having, if you were to ask them to read storybooks or digital storybooks, if we were to have like digital storybook sort of like a substitute to a traditional storybook, it may look more or less the same as what traditional one or physical storybook. But if you were to have it gamified, it is worth doing as it may in the end create fun learning. Okay, so I believe by doing this using Keynote and building or designing your gamified animated digital storybook, it will make learning engaging, more interactive, very personalized, yeah? Because when you ask them to choose answers, it depends on how they like it. And also if you have different type of learners, either visual, kinesthetic or audio, all are in one. And the best part is for me, the best part is the ownership. Everything is your own from scratch, from drawing to composing to storyline. Everything 100% is your own. Okay, so what more you want from using Keynote? Right. Okay, for this one, I think I'm towards the end. Before that, let me end my sharing session. I hope it is beneficial for everybody. Let me end with this quote. Right. Fun is rooted in diversity. When we do things that are not a typical part of our routine, and we add our other primary motivators, adding some achievements, belongings, recognitions, excellence, personal growth, and then craft fun. Okay, so don't forget hashtag everyone can create, everyone can gamify.